Hi everybody, this is the Patriot Hood, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the people's champion. Your host, the Hud, and welcome back to the Patriot Hood. You know, my whole life I've been wanting to know what happened to John F. Kennedy. Growing up, always heard about, was always part of the family, always sort of was known growing up that he was killed in broad daylight by an assassin, and everybody saw it. And film, and there was so many people there. So this, you sort of grow up with it. I think everyone's grown up with it. But now we're getting close now to finding out the entire truth of this situation. Now, going into office, first term, President Trump said he was going to release all the information. But he was talked out of it by a CIA director at the time, Mike Pompeo, which now Trump says it was a mistake. He shouldn't have done that. He released about 80% of the files. Now, prior to today, they said that there was going to be about 5 million papers, 5 million pages of documents that was going to be released on this whole situation. Now, when they dropped the release of the papers prior to that 4 years ago, what was learned was that Lee Harvey Oswald was an asset of the FBI. Also, over the last few weeks, there is an audio tape of two men who had worked for Lyndon Baines Johnson, the president, Kennedy's vice president, and became president after the murder. They said in this audio that Lyndon Johnson ordered the hit. He hired his own person. He had a personal hitman called Mac Wallace, and he hired him for the hit. Now, according to Roger Stone, according to his evidence and his research, he had said that there was a partial print that was discovered by the Dallas police in the sniper's nest and the Texas Book Depository. And if you didn't know this, and this was something I learned recently, was that the man that owned Texas Book Depository, Texas Book School, the Texas School Book Depository, was a man that was a major donor to Lyndon Johnson. This all goes back to Dallas, and all goes back, during the administration of John F. Kennedy. They were investigating friends of Lyndon Johnson. It was going to lead to Johnson, and Lyndon Johnson had Kennedy murdered because he was going to uncover all his secrets and all his crimes that he was committing, and they were going to drop him from the ticket. That's what the supposed story is going to be. Now, for 60 years, we've been hearing the official story was that Lee Harvey Oswald was the killer. Now, he had said, when he was being interviewed by the media, that he had nothing to do with it, that he was a patsy. We all know that. He said that. Now, it seems that he was a patsy, that he was in the building, but he had nothing to do with the murder of Kennedy, even though he had been working with the FBI, the CIA, he was in the Marines, all over the place. And Russia, tried to get into Cuba. He was in Central and South America. This guy was all over the place. Mexico, as you know. But now, because Trump has set a deadline, he wanted 15 days to make sure that this 15-day deadline of him getting all the information and basically figure out how they're going to release it to the public, which is the last of it. The supposed day is now March 9th, when all this information is going to get put out. All of it. And that has nothing to do with Robert Kennedy, his brother, and Martin Luther King Jr. So this is all sort of a separate thing. Now I'm going to read you what happened today. This was a major story that came out. If you're into this stuff, and I've been into this stuff my whole life, like I said at the beginning of this video. This is from Fox News. A magic trick by the Federal Bureau of Investigations, the FBI. FBI uncovers thousands of undisclosed records connected to JFK's assassination. Oh, really? Discovery came after President Donald Trump signed an executive order to release the JFK files. The FBI has uncovered thousands of records connected to the assassination of former President John F. Kennedy as a result of President Donald Trump's executive order to release the files. Axios first reported that the FBI released 2,400 records tied to the November 22nd, 1963 assassination of Kennedy, which were not provided to the board that reviewed and disclosed the files. And these files, these records, were not released to the Warren Commission, but the Warren Commission was rigged to begin with, obviously. When the Office of the Director of National Intelligence submitted its plan to release the JFK files, it reportedly disclosed the existence of the records. Unbelievable. Fox News is confirmed with a person familiar with the records that the files were uncovered during the review. Yeah, okay. In 2020, the FBI opened Central Records Complex and began a multi-year effort to first ship and then electronically inventory and store closed case files from FBI field offices across the country. The FBI told Fox News the resulting more comprehensive records inventory, coupled with the technological advances in automating the FBI's records keeping processes, allows us to more quickly search and locate records. Quote, the FBI conducted a new records search pursuant to President Trump's executive order issued on January 23, 2025, regarding the declassification of the assassination files of JFK, RFK, and Dr. King. The search resulted in approximately 2,400 newly inventoried and digitized records that were previously unrecognized as related to the JFK assassination case file. The agency added, the FBI has made the appropriate notifications to the newly discovered documents and is working to transfer them to the National Archives and Records Administration for inclusion in the ongoing declassification process. Last month, Trump signed an executive order to declassify files on the assassinations of Kennedy, his brother, and civil rights icon Martin Luther King Jr. Quote, everything will be revealed, Trump told reporters as he was signing the order in the Oval Office. The executive order came after Trump had previously promised on the campaign trail to declassify the documents upon entering his second term. Trump had initially promised to release the last batch of documents during his first term, but such efforts ultimately dissipated. He released 80% of them. We got to learn some new things. But this is really all ball and wax. This is it. We're going to find out what happened. Apparently, according to Roger Stone, he's a big expert on this. And he's worked with Trump. He's worked with different presidents. Worked with Richard Nixon. He had said that multiple government agencies were involved with this. The Dallas police was involved with this. Everything you can possibly imagine. The CIA, the Chicago Mafia, the CIA, the Secret Service. The Secret Service was told to stand down. If you know the famous film, Zapruder film, when Kennedy is shot, the only move by a Secret Service agent was the one that was covering Mrs. Kennedy, who was jumping at the back of the car, getting the president's brain off the back of the trunk. That's the only move of any Secret Service agent at any point during the assassination. There was nobody to protect the president. The president should have been protected at that point. This is such a crazy story. It gets even worse. According to Tucker Carlson a few years ago when he was on Fox News, he had been told that the Kennedy assassination is so bad. It is everything we were told growing up was a lie. Everything. And the things I've discovered is just crazy from things I've heard. First of all, 4 CIA agents, there were CIA agents all over Dealey Plaza. 4 of those CIA agents went on to go and be involved with the Watergate break-in. This involves several presidents, folks. This involves a lot of presidents. The sort of digging in. This whole thing is crazy. This probably involves Lyndon Johnson at the center of it. George H.W. Bush was in Dallas that day. Richard Nixon got dragged into this because he was looking into trying to find out who killed his friend, and he and Kennedy were good friends. So this is a big situation, and not only that, but a lot of people were killed. A lot of witnesses were killed. A lot of people were intimidated. to keep their mouths shut. According to the tape, there was at least 17 murders that occurred because they had seen things that day or knew about things. And as far as I know, there were at least 34 people that were killed. I think that's the messy part of this whole situation. It wasn't just one and done, and that was it. But these files just sort of pop up all of a sudden. Crazy. So it tells you that there's so much stuff even that they don't even know they have. And now that they're digging through it, they're finding it. Well, I'll keep you up to date as much as I can. And of course, the big thing is they found 2,400 more documents talking about what happened during the assassination, which was not disclosed to the Warren Commission. They just sort of magically appeared. And the White House has to go through it. But it's all going to get revealed. And that does not have to deal with the 5 million pages of documents previously redacted. Hoping nothing will be redacted. We'll know everything. And then we'll know everything about RFK. Also, the belief is that RFK was killed because he was going to dig into the murder of his brother, and Lyndon Johnson had him done away with. So just keep that in mind. This was a big situation, a big conspiracy, bigger than we probably know. Well, thank you for watching this video. Keep you up to date, and I'll see you later.